Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about player character races in the Pathfinder game. Specifically, I want to remind people that that means that a human, half-elf, or half-orc gets a +2 bonus, no penalties. The other of the races get 2 +2 bonuses and 1 -2 penalty. Alright, now, the other day I was discussing Warforged. And my suggestion was that allowing Warforged to pick 2 bonuses and 1 penalty of their choosing, well, the players who are playing the Warforged, that is, the characters themselves don't do much. And I had some interesting responses because I passed this information all over the place. People were enthusiastic about my idea. Some said it had merit, made some suggestions. And some, particularly people in the thread on the comment thread on the video itself, thought that it was out of bounds, unbalanced, or I believe the term was being bandied around, broken. And I commented to a person that my suggestion really wasn't much different than allowing a player to pick a race that had the 2 bonuses that they wanted and a penalty that they were willing to absorb. And the person replied that most games don't have an infinite supply of races to choose from, which is completely logical and correct. You are right. Most games don't have an infinite list of characters, races to choose from. Most GMs have a list, that says this is what I'm going to have you for options in my campaign, and I do it myself, though my lists can be somewhat long. And a lot of the time, people seem to just choose the core races because those are the ones that they're familiar with, the ones they're comfortable with. Now, I'm going to be talking about these races in a moment, and so only about their stats. So ignore everything else. Assume that every race I'm going to be discussing here is a 0 level advancement race, so all the non-stat abilities balance out. So this whole concept got me wondering about why is it bad to let a player have 2 bonuses they like and 1 penalty they can tolerate. Why is that broken? As I thought about it, I came to the conclusion that I don't think it is. I mean, I obviously came to that conclusion when I did the original Warforged video, but now after some further thought, there are things in D&D, and I'm assuming in Pathfinder, it hasn't been out long enough to really see some broken things, I don't think. But in D&D, for example, like Pun, Pun-Pun. It's an absolutely absurd character build based on a kobold with all these different class features and abilities and stuff that allows them, this creature, to essentially have unlimited strength and infinite power. They become the very universe itself. And I've seen builds on different optimization threads where people have, characters with land speeds of 1200 and 42 attacks in a round, and the ability to cast 12 spells in 6 seconds. And yes, all of these builds are in fact broken because people have broken the rules to achieve them. But I don't think a +2 bonus and 1 penalty is unbalanced, because if it was, Pathfinder wouldn't have used it. Now, yes, Pathfinder is using all of these in the same game, so all of the races have that same stat balance amongst themselves. But to each other, they're not unbalanced. The dwarves have it, the elves have it, the halflings have it. For example, I love the idea of warlocks. They're not in Pathfinder, but I think you could work them into Pathfinder on the fly without even any note-taking. And humans, I think, make great warlocks. They have the extra feat and skill bonuses, extra skill ranks. And that is just very tasty. However, the Pathfinder halfling has a +2 dex, +2 charisma, and a -2 strength. At a 28-point buy, or the equivalent in the Pathfinder game, you could easily start a character with an 18 dex and 18 charisma, 12 con, 14 intelligence, 10 wisdom, and a 6 strength. And that's perfectly reasonable for a halfling. He's small, he's weak, but dexterous, charismatic, relatively bright, moderately tough. that's a perfect build for a warlock. They're never going to have to get into physical combat, because if they do, things have gone really, really bad. And to me, that's perfectly balanced. +2 dex, +2 charisma, -2 strength. Makes perfect sense. So why doesn't it make equal sense to let a player have any +2 bonus to 2 stats and 1 -2 penalty to another? And I can't come up with a reason. To me, that seems perfectly balanced. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.